While we've spoken about Brew and Whirl, and there's a lot of work being done here, especially with a very stakeholder such as farmers. So what is the number that you have worked with right now? How much is being done? How did you come around doing this is something that we would want to know first of all.
Sure. Thanks, Manisha. Thanks, CoinDCX and Forbes. So real-world tokenization is certainly great to see this panel. I was at Token 2049. And in last 7 years of my participation in the blockchain industry, this is the first year I saw so many RWA tokenization panels over there, side events which were all about RWA. So the shift is happening. So finally, after so many years, we are seeing that so first wave of actually tokenization or RWA started in 16, 17. Centrifuge came, Propi came. We started building in 2018, came up in 2019, and so a bit after them. But nobody had like, okay, this is something they are doing. It is a side part of it. It will happen, may not happen. But what changed is the time when 5% yield, the treasury bonds came on this platform. And all of a sudden people realize that, hey, the accessibility has changed altogether. So when that shift has happened, I believe that this is right now we are at the time when finally we will see that RWA will go up and up. And so that was an idea which came at that point of time, that how do you mix or how do you merge crypto world or blockchain world for real world usage. And we started building in 2019, brought our product in 2020. And as like everybody, we started thinking from bankers' perspective, how to solve their problem. Because everybody wanted to build blockchain for financial services, right? So we saw that in commodity finance, so there was a lot of frauds. In India, we had 5,000 crore rupee of NSCL scam in 2013. Then Qingdao, a scandal of $700 million happened in China in 2014. And that has not stopped. Even in 2020, Singaporean banks lost, in one country, they lost $12 billion. It's a $250 billion market globally. In one country, in one single country, they lost $12 billion in one single year. Means 6% of the market lost in one country itself in one single year. So that was the core objective. How do I help solve the lenders' problem? So we went to the lenders, I can solve your problem. And they said, yeah, blockchain, right? So, so we said, okay, the problem is solvable. Why not to solve for the borrower? And so what we did that we tokenized commodity and we brought a concept of custody based, which is a bit different from everybody was doing tokenization, custodian based tokenization. So instead of tokenizing a paper, we said, no, we will tokenize the asset itself, which is with the custodian. Like you would require custodian for a digital asset, so you will have custodian. So that is where warehouses came. So we started tokenizing commodities which are stored in warehouses and used by farmers to borrow money against that commodity which they have deposited, just like your gold loan. And that's how we built that. So when the banks were not that much interested, we solved for the borrowers. And doing that, today the regulator has invited us to do it pan-India. For when we did it at a scale in one state and took it to 5 states. So doing that, what we have seen that frankly speaking, people talk about regulations in this industry. I would say you have regulatory arbitrage, enjoy that. This industry, right now, you see any industry, you have NBFCs. When I was in my college, NBFC buzz started happening. RBI came up with NBFC regulation in 90s. Before that, there was no regulation. P2P lending was done for a few years before regulations came. And more importantly, microfinance, because that is something closer to what we do. Microfinance was done by NGOs. And there was no regulation. How can an NGO give a loan? Let us ask this question and we will be surprised. They built a huge billions of dollars of market, and then one day regulator said, now I need to regulate that. Similarly, here in crypto industry, you have a regulatory arbitrage. Till the time it is there, enjoy that. And you have certain acts which allow you to do tokenization. Backing comes from India, the Information Technology Act itself, which says what you can do on paper, you can do on technology. So if I can do a paper-based transaction, I can do a paper-based, a technology-based, I can do a Java-based, or I can do a blockchain-based tokenization as well. So that is what I believe is important for this industry, and numbers-wise, 6,000 crores of commodities tokenized so far. So we have done that. We have partnership with a few banks. To farmers, we have given more than 100 crore rupee of loans on that. So we are in India production stage only one who has given loan really. And today we are working with governments, we are working with the World Bank, we are working with PSU banks, and nobody has raised this question, where is the regulation for this? So that will be my 2 cents on this.
आशीष, बहुत सारा काम हुआ है, लेकिन अगर यहाँ से again, what is the future from here? What is it that you have a vision on, that you want to do and see it succeed?
So I would say that one thing we will see in RWA or tokenization space. So far, life was 2 parts: private blockchain, institutions, public blockchain, crypto. We will see them merging together. So already, like we did in Whirl and Brew, that Whirl is private blockchain for institutions. We brought liquidity on DeFi and created a bridge. But we are not alone. Swift recently did this with 13 banks. So 13 banks and Swift did a channeling transaction, that how interoperability is possible, how private blockchain networks or different blockchain networks can be connected to a public blockchain. Similarly, JP Morgan did some POC on Polygon Net last year itself. So that's one thing which I am seeing clearly, that way if tokenization booms, and we expect, I mean, the projection is $16 trillion of tokenization by 2030. So if that happens, we won't be seeing this divide anymore. The private and public blockchains, there will be private blockchains, or there will be private transactions on public blockchains, but there will be a cross communication between the two. So that is a future I am envisaging for this industry from that perspective.
Wow.